Sit properly. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Tirtha Gaurav Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare 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 Hare Krishna.
I am leaving, Prabhu. You can carry on. I made you host.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You know, but office when and then log out it and you can carry on.
Okay, Prabhu. Sure. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Saraswati Gauranga Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Sadguru Gopal Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes, or we'll start, Prabhuji.
We'll start, Prabhuji, no problem.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
We'll do prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Adhyante Virandasya Jnananjana Tatpuram Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatade Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Would you let me know once it is visible my screen?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Is it visible for you?
No, Prabhuji. Yes, now it's okay.
Hare Krishna Diva Mataji, can you start?
Yes, Prabhuji.
7.5 Mataji. Right.
Yes, Prabhuji. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Here it is clearly mentioned that living entities belong to the superior nature or energy of the Supreme Lord. The inferior energy is matter manifested in different elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Both forms of material nature, namely gross, earth, etc., and subtle, mind, etc., are products of the inferior energy. The living entities who are exploiting these inferior energies for different purposes are the superior energy of the Supreme Lord, and it is due to this energy that the entire material world functions. The cosmic manifestation has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy, the living entity. Energies are always controlled by the energetic, and therefore the living entities are always controlled by the Lord. They have no independent existence. They are never equally powerful as unintelligent men think. The distinction between the living entities and the Lord is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.30 as follows. अपरिमिता ध्रुवस्तनु भृतो यदि सर्वगतास तर्हि न शास्येति शास्यतेति नियमो ध्रुव तेतरथा अजनी च यन् मयं तद् अविमुच्य नियंत्र भवेत् समम अनुज्ञातां यद अमतं मत दुष्टतया. O Supreme Eternal, if the embodied living entities were eternal and all-pervading like you, then they would not be under your control. But if the living entities are accepted as minute energies of your Lordship, then they are at once subjected to your supreme control. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender by the living entities to your control, and that surrender will make them happy. In that constitutional position only can they be controllers. Therefore, men with limited knowledge who advocate the monistic theory that God and the living entities are equal in all respects are actually guided by a faulty and polluted opinion. The Supreme Lord Krishna is the only controller, and all living entities are controlled by him. These living entities are his superior energy because the quality of their existence is one and the same with the Supreme, but they are never equal to the Lord in quantity of power. While exploiting the gross and subtle inferior energy matter, the superior energy, the living entity, forgets his real spiritual mind and intelligence. This forgetfulness is due to the influence of matter upon the living entity. But when the living entity becomes free from the influence of the illusory material energy, he attains the stage called mukti or liberation. The false ego, under the influence of material illusion, thinks, I am matter and material acquisitions are mine. His actual position is realized when he is liberated from all material ideas, including the conception of his becoming one in all respects with God. Therefore, one may conclude that the Gita confirms the living entity to be only one of the multi-energies of Krishna. And when this energy is freed from material contamination, it becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated. Hare Krishna.
Jai Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sandhya Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
7.6.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. Purport. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation, and matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. This material body is developed because spirit is present within matter. A child grows gradually to boyhood and then to manhood because that superior energy, spirit soul, is present. Similarly, the entire cosmic manifestation of the Janjatic universe is developed because of the presence of the supersoul Vishnu. Therefore, spirit and matter, which combine to manifest this Janjatic universal form, are originally two energies of the Lord, and consequently, the Lord is the original cause of everything. A fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, namely the living entity, may be the cause of a big skyscraper, a big factory, or even a big city, but he cannot be the cause of a big universe. The cause of the big universe is the big soul or the super soul. And Krishna, the Supreme, is the cause of both the big and small souls. Therefore, he is the original cause of all causes. This is confirmed in the Katha Upanishad 2.13 Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Ravin Prabhuji. Ravin Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Please.
Translation. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport. There is a common. Prabhuji.
Mataji, anybody can recite the sloka. This is important sloka, right? One of the important sloka.
There is a. Oh. प्रभु जी दिखाई नहीं दे रहा पर्पट नहीं दिखाई दे रहा प्रभु जी.
Okay, sloka Mataji. Sloka, can you recite sloka? This is one of the important sloka.
Okay, प्रभु जी. मता परत्रम नान्यात किंचित अस्ति धनन जया मयि सर्वम इदं प्रोतम सूत्रे मणिगणा इव. Translation. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Purport. There is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse, in particular, it is stressed that the absolute truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth, is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parma Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That is the supreme absolute truth. Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Sevatasvatra Upanishad 3.10, Tato yad uttataram tad aripam anandanayam ya etad vidur amritas te bhavanti athetare dukham eva piyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss and knowledge to described in the Brahma Smita quotes above. Other verses in the Sevatavatra Upanishad 3.89 substantiate this is follows. Should I read, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you read?
Vedaham itam purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamasa parasat tam eva vidivati mrityum eti nanya pantha vidyate yanaya yasmat param napram asti kinchit yasman nanyo no jayayo sati kinchit vriksha iva satvadho divi tishyathe ikas tenagam purnanam purushena sarvam. I know that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who know him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of the Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree and he illumines the transcendental sky, and as a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that the supreme absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all pervading by his multi energies, both material and spiritual. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, ma'am. Prabhuji, can you read? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, he is in office.
Okay, okay. So,
Hare
Saraswati
Krishna.
Mata. Yeah. So,
Prabhuji, translation, Prabhuji.
Yeah, translation, Mataji.
O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in men. Purport Gudana, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Okay. This verse explains how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalists perceive the presence of the Lord in the water by its taste, and the personalists also glorify the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. This is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows the impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achintya Beda and Abeda Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. The light of the sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahma Jyotir, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord, and Pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, address the Supreme Lord. Because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Glory Prabhuji, can you read, please? Hare Krishna, Loresh Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Praveen. I thought you told Praveen. Translation. I am the original fragrance.
Your voice is not audible, Prabhuji.
Can you hear me now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Translation. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all aesthetics. Purport by Jivangar Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance, has the flavor and fragrance in a flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And the fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. 710, translation. O son of Pradha, I know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of intelligent, and the province of all powerful men. Purport. Bija means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move, but but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 84 lakh species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all the cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the supreme absolute truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is the Para-Brahman, the spirit, supreme spirit. Brahman is the impersonal and Para-Brahman is the person. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintains the whole tree, Krishna, being the original root of all the things, maintain everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam Eko Bahunamyo Vidhatati Kamam. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is the maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence. And Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you read? Deepa Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas. Arjuna. Purport. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principles, dharma, should be for the propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna conscious.
Continue, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Should I continue?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. Purport. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, please can you read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world doesn't know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Purport. The whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the mode of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras. And those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may be either a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever. In any case, this life is temporary. But although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, by the spell of this illusory energy, we consider ourselves in terms of this bodily conception of life, and we thus think that we are American, Indian, Russian, and Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that living entities deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature, and all of them have forgotten the transcendent personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go beyond the impersonal Brahman conception of the absolute truth. They are bewildered by before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulence, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Can you read? Mataji?
Translation: The divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport: The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are there for divine. Due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior nature matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditional soul is therefore called Nitya Baddha, or eternally conditional. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditional, and at a certain date is material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm as the follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyan mainam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya illusion is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Sevata Vatra Upanishad 4.10. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Another meaning. Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, we'll give to somebody. Saraswati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please continue.
Another meaning of guna is rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He ordered this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity, who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender onto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stingent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means onto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnation of Rajoguna, passion, and Tamoguna, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas, Shvetasvatara Upanishad 3.8 confirm this in the phrase Tam eva viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnur Eva Na Samshayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So, Prabhuji, Mataji, we'll continue the slokas. We are stopping here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We'll recite the sloka. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Mataji, we'll recite this one 5.22 and 5.29. That one, or from starting?
Yeah, let's do the last three, Prabhuji. And
Yeah.
then when everybody is there, we can do all of them together.
Okay, Mataji. Please recite, Mataji.
5.22.
Yeah.
ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यान्तवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. Translation: An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. 5.29 Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvalokamaheeshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim ruchhati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Yoginamapi sarvesham matkatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mata. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Lois Prabhuji, please can you recite? Hare Krishna. Saraswati Mataji, please can you recite?
Prabhuji, you please carry on, Prabhuji. I just listen, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. So, Lois Prabhuji, you want to recite? I'll try myself.
Yes, Prabhuji. మీరు శిరీష మాతాజీ కూడా ఉన్నారా?
లేదు మాతాజీ, పూజ చేస్తుంటాం.
అయితే మీరు నేను చేయాలి.
బట్ ఈ శ్లోకాస్ చాలా కష్టంగా ఉన్నాయి మాతాజీ.
ఏం పర్వాలేదు Prabhuji. Should I help you?
Yeah, I'll try మాతాజీ. 5.22.
మీరు చేయండి.
हे संस्पर्शज भोग दुःखयोना एव ते आद्यांतवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. Translation: An intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which are due to contact with material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Bhagavad Gita 5.29. Bhoktaram yagnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrutam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam shanti brachati. Translation: a person who in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pains of material miseries. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Yoginam absarvesham madgaten antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam sameyukta tamamata. Translation: and all of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides me, think of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Let's do one thing, Prabhuji. For these 3 shlokas, I'll read the first line, and whoever of us are available for reciting, we can unmute and we'll just recite one line each, like that. So that way we'll get the hang of the shloka also.
So, Sandhya Mataji, last we'll check it. Sandhya Mataji, you want to recite?
Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Chalavan Mataji.
Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga
He samsparshaja bhoga
dukkha yonaya evate
dukkha yonaya evate
adyantavanta kaunteya
adyantavanta kaunteya
nate shuramate buddha
nateshu ramate buddha.
ye hi samsparshaja bhoga
He samsparshaja bhoga
dukkha yonaya evate
dukkha yonaya evate
adyantavanta kaunteya
adyantavanta kaunteya
nate shuramate buddha.
nateshu ramate buddha.
Now we'll do 2 lines each. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate
He samsparshaja
bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
Again. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate
He samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yona evate
adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
Let's do 4 lines now. Ye hi samsparshaja. Let's do together. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. మీరిద్దరు కలిసి చెప్పండి.
ఏ సంస్పర్శజ బోగా దుఃఖ యోనయ ఏవతే ఆద్యంతవంత కౌంతేయ నతేషు రమతే బుధా.
Great. Let's go to the next shloka. 5.29. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam
యజ్ఞతపస్యాం
sarvaloka maheshwaram
సర్వలోకమహేశ్వరం
suhridam sarvabhutanam
సుహృదం సర్వభూతానాం
gyatva mam shanti nruchati.
ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति
भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां
तारं यज्ञतपसां
सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं
सर्वलोकामहेश्वरम्
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां
ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति
Let's do 2 lines together. भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां
यज्ञतपस्यां
सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं
सर्वलोकारं यज्ञतपस्यां सर्वलोकामहेश्वरम्
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिरिच्छति.
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति
Again. भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं
भोक्तारं यज्ञतपस्यां सर्वलोकामहेश्वरम्
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति
Let's do all 4. भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति.
भोक्तारं यज्ञतपस्यां सर्वलोकामहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति
Very good. Let's go to 6.47. 6.47. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां
समे युक्ततमो मता.
समे युक्ततमो मतः
Let's do 2 together. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मता.
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः
Super. Let's do 4. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः.
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः
Very good. So ఇప్పుడు మీరిద్దరు you can do one after another all the 3 shlokas and translation together. Then I will do all the 3 shlokas and then we can wind up. Do you have time, Prabhuji?
We'll do Mataji. One time we'll do.
Okay. One time, all 3. You do once, Shrisha Mata will do once, and then I will do once, and then we'll wind up.
Gita 5.22.
Yes.
एहि संस्पर्शजा भोगः दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेया नातिशूरमते बुधा. Translation. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. 5.29. Bhoktaram yagnatapasham sarvaloka maheshwaram Suhrudam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantim rachati. Translation. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Bhagavad Gita 6.47. Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. Translation. And of all yogis, the one who great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna.
Reset Mataji.
Yes, Meer Prabhuji. Meer finish చేసింది.
Bhagavad Gita 5.22. ఏ సంస్పర్శ జావోగా దుఃఖయోనాయ ఏవతే ఆద్యంతవంత కౌంతేయ నతేషు రమతే బుధా. I'll reset one more time.
Yes, Prabhuji.
ఏహి సంస్పర్శ జావోగా దుఃఖయోనాయ ఏవతే
Yonaya. Dukkha Yonaya.
దుఃఖయోనయ ఏవతే ఆద్యంతవంత కౌంతేయ నతేషు రమతే బుధా. Translation. An intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Bhagavad Gita 5.20. Bhoktaram yajnatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam santi mruchati. Translation. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries.
Pangs, Prabhuji. From the pangs of material. Pangs. G
Pangs
is
of-
G. Pangs.
Okay.
Pangs. Yeah.
6.47 योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः. Translation. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and he is the highest of all. This is my opinion. Hare Krishna. Yeah, you reset Mataji.
Yeah. 5.22. ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. An intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. 5.29. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shanti mruchati. Translation. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. Yoginam 6.47. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Translation. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji. We can wind up now.
Thank you, Deepa Mataji. Thank you, Raj Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. Sanna.
Panchakalpatarubhyasya कृपा
Vasindhukyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaः.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील Prabhupada book reading translation, book reading class.